But, they're doing half as much, Brian, in the WWE as they used to in the ring and on TV, but they're charging twice as much for us to see it. Did you hear about the newest study that's apparently WWE ticket prices have like doubled since TKO took over? What, in two years or not even, whatever it's been. And there's no slacking off of demand is the other part of the story. There's some people are just paying it. Isn't there a limit at some point?
Right now, no. I mean, we've heard reports from some people, and you don't see it on TV. And I haven't seen too many pictures, but you do hear from some people that say, hey, Raw came back or SmackDown came back to my town. Ticket prices went up. Less people in there than there were last time. Some people even say, hey, you see empty seats. Again, we haven't seen it, and a lot of the ticket counts we do see indicate near capacity. But it doesn't feel as hot right now. But somehow they have found an audience with endless disposable income. And they are just feasting on that audience right now. And it's amazing. It really is.
Feasting on them like vampires.
Yeah, because it's not just ticket prices. Once you get there, a t-shirt, how much is a t-shirt now? 40, 50? How much is a t-shirt at a WWE live event?
I got to raise my prices at JimCornette.com. Hurry, folks, before I get smart and do that.
But by the time you buy WWE merch, and then maybe some concessions, you've dropped a lot of money that night, and a lot of that's going right to WWE.
Well, I'm looking at this graph, this chart that we've got here, and this is from Polestar. Apparently, the data was compiled by Polestar. And from 1999 until today, it had some fluctuation in the early 2000s, went back down, came back up in the mid 2000s, whatever, but it stayed between, apparently adjusted for inflation, it stayed between $41 and $67 for almost 25 years. And then the TKO merger closed when it was somewhere around 60, and it's now at 118. They've doubled the prices in 2 fucking years. Even if they're not selling as many tickets as they were, 2 years ago or whatever, they're still making more money because they're charging so much more. So they'd have to be down to drawing, Brian, on average, as this shows, they'd have to draw half as many people as they did a couple of years ago to be making less money than they were at that time. And this is just, it's crazy.
It's all insane. The media rights deals are insane, especially when you look at what the actual numbers are. It's, the biggest cash grab in wrestling history, and it's working. I don't know what's going to change. What'll change it is if people stop going somehow.
Yeah.
But what's going to cause that? A pandemic. I mean, there's nothing. What else is going to cause someone right now? Because WWE's not really, the TV's not hot. What would cause people to stop right now? I don't know.
Well, that's the thing, is that they're not doing a lot, but they're not doing particularly anything wrong. They're just kind of chugging right along there. But it's the perception of the people that this whole thing is and I'm not talking about even us and the wrestling insiders that listen to us or the real nerds over it. I'm talking about just to the average person. They've, to them, these people are all big stars. This is a big production, and it's normal to be talked to for 20 minutes at a time when you buy a ticket to see a wrestling show. So they don't really have any complaints.
So what do you see in this information you have there?
I'm just having a problem seeing how that this can last on a long-term basis if it not only keeps going up, but just continues at this price sooner or later, people are going to say, well, fuck it. I won't go in person. I'll just watch TV, which still, with all the things they're on, as we know, costs some money. But this is not, it's not making it an accessible thing to introduce it to the live event experience to a lot of new fans that may be on the bubble about going or just haven't gone because they can't afford it. But I mean, it's always been. I remember one story, Dutch Mantel, the first booking job he got was in Florida. And this was either right before or right after Eddie Graham died. But the point being, they told him one night, because they did real good in a town like Sarasota or whatever. He said, yeah, I said, this is the most people we've had in Sarasota. It's not the record gate. Oh, why not? Well, we had higher ticket prices for some super show. And Ed Dutch said, that's the first time I found out you could just raise ticket prices if you wanted to. So Eddie Graham started that Golden Circle ticket thing in Florida for the big events. If the WWF title versus the NWA title was in the main event, Golden Circle, first row or whatever. And you could get more gross out of the same amount of people that would normally come, and even better if it was more people, but it had to be a big show, something out of the ordinary to justify raising the price from what you normally gave them, right? And I remember Jared did that, his first show in the Mid-South Coliseum. Normal Coliseum prices in April 1977, I'm trying to remember whether they had gone to $5 ringside yet or not, but general admission was still $2. But for that first show with Harley Race against Rocky Johnson, Jerry Lawler against Jack Briscoe, Dusty was on the card, a lot of stars, right? He did a $25 Golden Circle front row and $15 for the next two rows. And then I think a couple of dollars up across the board, ringside, reserved, general admission. In March at regular prices, he had drawn 11,000 something people sold out to see Johnson and Race. This was the rematch. And of course, the March show, he was just about to break off from Goulas. This was the rematch like 7 weeks later. And they only did 90 something hundred people because it scared a couple of thousand off of coming, because we've never seen ticket prices that high. But he still did a gross that was comparable to the sellout.
Next year will be interesting because there's no more John Cena. Whatever sort of bump, and you have to figure there would inherently be one, you got from John Cena appearing in all these towns for a last time, that's gone. That's out the window. So now you're going back to relying on your current stars and what you're doing with them.
And sometimes that leads to a little lull, because even if it's good talent, when a top star leaves, or a top attraction that was why people were buying tickets, when they're gone, it takes a little while for them to get into something else that's going on. So they may have a little lull. Who knows? But one way or another, Brian, it's going to cost you a lot of money if you want to follow the WWE, either live in person or even on television, with the streaming service prices and the cable prices and the prices of all of the various add-ons to watch all of this wrestling. It's going to cost you some money one way or another, Brian. It's going to cost you something. You know that as well as I do. You know how to get around it, don't you?
I do.
Lie.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. That's not the way we should put it.
Well, you're lying in search of a common good. You're lying to protect your family.
No.
You're lying to keep yourself privacy free.
You're lying down on your couch and enjoying WWE programming no matter where it's airing.
What you are doing is you are going to our friends over at Surfshark, at surfshark.com, and you're saying, hey, not only do I not want any of these perpetrators out there on the dark web to take advantage of knowing where I am with my interweb signal so they can come through the wires into my home and hurt me and my family, but also I want to be able to watch the wrestling without them charging me out to yin yang. And then Surfshark will take it from there. And not only will they protect your privacy from all these bad actors out there in the world, you can secure your privacy, but also if the WWE wants to know where you are, just like all these criminals that want to crawl through these wires and invade your home, Surfshark will tell them, hey, he's somewhere else. And then when those guys with those hoods and masks and billy clubs in their hands crawl through your wiring to rob you and steal you and commit mayhem in the middle of the night.
Steal you?
Well, they might kidnap you.
Well, no. But
well, then when they come out, they're going to come out into the middle of a hut in the Belgian Congo.
What?
Or a monastery deep in the mountains of Tibet, because Surfshark is going to have told him, no, he ain't in Poughkeepsie. No, he left Cleveland a long time ago. He's over there in Pakistan, and that's where they'll go to look for you.
Once again,
guess what? You ain't going to be there.
Let's use a great example like you lying on your couch and saying, hey, I want to watch WWE's latest premium live event. However, those greedy gentlemen over at WWE, they get all these media deals. They're making me pay for this and pay for that. What if I could just say I was in Canada? That would solve everything.
Well, then you could get access to the commercial-free WWE on the Canadian Netflix, because I guess people in Canada don't buy anything, so there's no advertising. But that's the kind of thing that you can do. You can just do all kinds of things with telling people where you are or where you're not or where they want you to think that you are, that they will be. And it's all about securing your privacy, too. So no more will you be just wide open, laying there on your couch, ready for the world to violate you. Instead, they won't be able to find you because Surfshark is going to confuse the whole issue, swerve their heads around, and fuck their whole deal up. And you benefit. And right now, because Surfshark are friends of ours, is that proper grammar? Surfshark is, because it's an entity.
There hasn't been much in this entire spot.
Is it Surfshark is a friend of ours or Surfshark are friends of ours?
Hang 10 with Surfshark.
One way or another. Well, they don't have to hang 10 with Surfshark like me. I can just stand here and smile to hang 10. But you can go to surfshark.com/JCE and use the code JCE at checkout. You're going to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN at no extra charge whatsoever. No extra charge. That means gratis. You pay nothing for the 4 extra months that you get on top of the term that you sign up for when you go to surfshark.com and use the code JCE. And then you're going to disappear where even your family and friends will not know you're still in the country. It's the most peaceful time you'll ever have in your entire lives, with nobody you know able to just come over and knock on your door and say, hey, I want to borrow this, that, and the other thing. Because when they try to look you up with their super secret internet search machine, they'll think you're in Cambodia.
Or something like that. But once again, a great way to access WWE content no matter what service they are on. There's only one service you need, and that is our friends at Surfshark. One more time,
That's
Jim.
right.
In a professional way, let's give that promo code.
Surfshark.com/JCE. The code is JC at checkout to get 4 extra months of the Surfshark VPN. And boy, howdy, then you can watch all these fancy dance services that the WWE is on and save yourself some money and aggravation.